Hello and welcome to Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor and my co-hosts are Devi Boy and the DJ. How are you going, Devi Boy?
I am surviving. It is retail hell right now because Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Buster Monday. Every single store here in Australia has a different name for what they want to call Black Friday. Some call it Black Friday. Others call it Party Mania Friday or some stuff. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys, stop, calm down. But I am surviving. So if I do suddenly faint, then you'll know what happened. Hi guys, I'm really happy.
The life of retail, it never ends. It never ends.
I saw a meme on Reddit the other day. It was basically like retail workers, Christmas songs start playing, just derpy faces.
Hey! Wait till they start bringing out the hot cross buns after Christmas.
Shh! Come on, man. We're not there just yet. We don't. Let's at least get through half December 1st before we're having hot cross buns.
Okay. Here's my rant about this. Well, imagine Jesus when he sees like the hot cross buns after Christmas. He'd be like, "But I'm not dead yet."
Yeah, he'd probably be weirded out by how much we worship his death.
Hey guys, you want some hot cross sweet Jesus death buns?
You reckon he'd totally have PTSD from that?
Hello, welcome to the year 2020. This year, we celebrate the death of Jesus by putting a cross on crusty, hot, fun buns and then hand it to the kiddies. Your sacrifice was not in vain.
And that's some complimentary eggs as well.
All right, well, now we've upset a whole bunch of people. What's your topic tonight, DJ?
Come on. That's not the first time that's happened. You guys are pretty used to this show.
Well, the topic for tonight is basically a couple of directors have started complaining to Christopher Nolan for the amount of sound that Nolan's been producing.
Which isn't a whole lot, is it?
No, it's not a whole lot. And some have even said like most of his movies are too loud. Like Nolan was saying, like, we've got a lot of complaints about in regards with Interstellar and their sound design. I actually got calls from other filmmakers who would say, "I just saw your film and the dialogue is inaudible." Some people thought maybe the music's too loud, but the truth is it was kind of the whole enchilada of how we chose to mix it.
Yeah, is there not some sound engineer who can tell him, like, seriously, you're doing this wrong?
What wrong? There's nothing wrong here.
Oh, come on, this is Christopher Nolan. You tell Christopher Nolan something is wrong. It's like telling God that he's wrong.
Maybe we just did.
And we're gonna get lightning struck by Nolan fans. But yeah, some moviegoers say that even though the movies are too loud, but Nolan movies sound exactly the way Nolan wants them to sound.
And how is that?
It's basically from an excerpt of his book. He says, because you can make a film that looks like anything you can shoot on your iPhone, no one's going to complain. But if you mix the sound a certain way, or if you use certain sub-frequencies, people get up in arms. There's a wonderful feeling of scale that can come from that. A wonderful feeling of physicality, sound that on Interstellar we pushed further than I think anyone else has. We tapped into the idea of sub-channel where you can get a lot of vibrations. We used that for the rocket launch and the music. A lot of it was the music where Hans Zimmer had this organ and he used the absolutely lowest note, which could literally make your chest drop. It's like a whole huge excerpt on his one of the Twitter tweets.
It sounds like he's completely missed the point.
Yep.
The point isn't that you're doing interesting things with your sound. The point is that you're completely wrecking the viewing experience because no one can hear you.
And he continues on by saying,
what are you saying? Sorry, I can't hear over these foghorns.
I feel sorry for the actors that they're like, imagine they speak like the potential greatest line in the movie and it gets muffled by something.
You mean Michael Caine on his deathbed in Interstellar?
Yeah. Wait,
it doesn't help that Michael Caine's voice is getting more and more hard to understand. like compared to his performance in The Prestige, he really sort of mumbles that one in Interstellar.
And I like this also the quote saying here, we played the film once with just that, and then I asked the sound guys what they thought, and they all said, yeah, we should go for it and do it that way.
Cool. So he thinks people are agreeing with him.
To a certain degree, yeah. To a certain degree, like, I don't know. I mean, sound is vital in every movie component, and once you mess up the sound aspect of it, you basically killed the movie.
Yeah, there are things you can do that, like, I understand that he wants to do interesting things with sound, but not to the point that people can't understand your dialogue. That could be an artistic effect if you were making a character who's partially deaf and it's a POV movie, but that's not how it goes in Interstellar, is it?
Yeah. My favorite line on this one is basically there are certain low end frequencies that automatically get filtered out by the software. He took all of the controls off so there are all those sub frequencies there. And we did the same thing on the dub stage. It's pretty fascinating sound mix. If you see particularly in an IMAX theater projected, it's pretty remarkable.
Why does he think those controls are there?
I think he just I think he wants to get that sound, you know, the unique sound, and he just wants to. It's just basically him fiddling around with the controls.
Well, if that's the case, get that damn man away from the controls, boy. It's like I feel like he's like Christopher Nolan's movies are really good, especially Dunkirk's one of my favorites. But, you know, goes in, gets it was Dunkirk one of his movies?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, they don't clear on that, but like I feel like goes in, he gets like the volume knob and just turns a little. I can still hear them. Turn a little more. Oh, well, getting close. Yeah, I can't hear anymore. That's good. I feel like it's just.
Yeah. I saw an interesting comment on Reddit. Like,
oh, yes, of course, Reddit.
Yep. I'm far from any sort of doctor, but the comment pointed out that the frequencies that he seems to have trouble with are common in people with mild deafness. So their theory was that he's a bit deaf, and it sounds fine to him because he doesn't hear what's going on. Now, obviously, that's debatable. No one's actually... Presumably, he actually has a doctor who would tell him if that was a problem. But the other thing is, when he watches his movies, he knows every line of dialogue. It's not like he's a viewer watching it for the first time. He's put up with it for months while he edits.
But that's a bit of a flaw, though. Like, it's like you writing your assignment and then you reading your assignment and then not letting anyone else edit it for you.
Yeah, like when you write something and you read back over it, you won't notice the mistakes because you see what you expect to see. But in this case, yeah, it's the same sort of deal. He spent so long actually editing and reviewing the script and directing that, you know, he knows what's going to happen. So
yeah. Although funny you mentioned that Debbie Boy with Dunkirk. It won the best sound award at the Critics' Choice Awards.
See, I just know, right?
It also won best sound editing,
Sorry,
best sound mix.
Pun? Did you say sounds about right?
Yep.
I'm proud of you. Why can't you be more like Devi, DJ?
I'm so sorry. I'm just not punny enough.
But with Nolan though, do you reckon it comes down to who he picks as a sound team? Because it's also the choice of people he works with in terms of sound.
Yeah, I wonder if there's anyone who can actually tell him what to do, or is he, so completely full of himself that no one can stand up to him?
I mean, that'd be an interesting question. Although the short answer would be not many. I mean, do you really want to go up against Christopher Nolan and tell him, like, your movie sounds are terrible?
Yeah, depending on what kind of person Nolan is, that sounds like a good way to get fired.
Yep. But as I was saying earlier on, like, sound is the most important key factor in movies. And, like, Nolan messing up in some of his movies, it kind of takes away the gleam of the movies that he does when he mess up the sound.
Yeah,
like his movies were spectacularly spectacular to watch on a visual standpoint, but from a sound perspective, it doesn't work. It wouldn't work. And also, it also comes down to the message as well that the sound is trying to relay. If you mess up the sound, the message would be a totally different exercise as well. So that's another thing you have to consider.
Yes, and it annoys me so much when the sound mixing is bad, because if I turn up the volume to hear the voices, I get my eardrums blown out. If I turn down the volume, I don't hear the voices. I think, at least a home release, you kind of need to run a compression pass on the audio, because most people don't have super fancy speaker systems. But even in the theater, people are having trouble understanding this, so... Yeah.
And not to mention, Nolan is using IMAX as well. Like, he's a huge devotee of IMAX. I don't know why. Is it the image quality, or is it the stuff, or is it something else? But
it's both. It's like image, audio, all sorts of things.
But yeah, this is where I think companies like Bose and Dolby, all these companies should work on how to get that right sound, like IMAX quality sound.
I mean, the problem is it sounds a bit objective, right? So, like, they do that, and it's super expensive, but then not everyone likes it because some people are deaf.
And also, sound depends on the room that you're in. It takes a lot of effort to properly tune a sound system for the room that you're in, with the positioning of your couch or your furniture that will absorb the sound, or even the walls, which will reflect the sound.
Hang on a second, there's an article about why he uses IMAX. This is so the format, which uses 70mm film with the greater amount of perforations, had been limited to documentaries for the first time. Films like Lord of the Rings and The Matrix have been great success via grain in reducing DMR. So Nolan using the IMAX. So IMAX filling the entirety of the screen aspect from close ratio to 4:3 rather than the cropped 2:35:1 widescreen images. It created a convincing scale for the monolithic Gotham City, and evident right from the opening shot. And he also says, while filming The Dark Knight Rises, that the 3-panel 3-projector film process that then created immersive panoramic images during the 50s and 60s saw an even scantier cinematic use than IMAX, and the formats share many of the same problems. They are loud and heavy in the shooting process, hampering the ability for audiences to hear the dialogue.
Well, that's why you go back and do ADR.
Yeah. Do you reckon that's the disadvantage when it comes to sound, is the whole widescreen as well? Like, if you were to take out widescreen and make it into like the compact screens, for example, maybe the sound would be less problematic?
No, I don't see why that would make a difference. A smaller TV would actually probably be worse, because you can't fit big speakers in it. Oh, well, maybe we can swap Christopher Nolan's sound editor for someone who can actually handle it.
See which one? Handle the sound editing or Christopher Nolan? That's the question.
Both. Yeah, good luck in trying to handle him.
We have got a story about swapping things, Debbie.
That we do. So, hey guys, do you want a PS5?
Not really. I'm pretty happy with my PC, but thanks for the offer.
Well, you gotta play along, man. Come on.
All right. Yes, I want a PS5.
Oh, thanks. Anyways, no, regardless. So, what a PS5? Firstly, tough luck. Sony has revealed today that PS5s have sold out globally.
How?
Apart from scalpers. Yeah, they just put an announcement out saying PS5s are globally sold out. So, not going to get one for Christmas, I'm sorry, if you're wanting to get one now. But if you did happen to buy from a scalper, there's been some interesting stories. Interesting PS5 model there. There's been some stories of some interesting PS5 models turning up, such as the Porn Cop connection. Freaking hell. It's been a long work day. I'm going to restart that and get the article up. I apologize. Let's start from the beginning. We'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I do apologize. It's been a long 6-hour shift.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, yeah, we have been changing stuff around. So, firstly, if you want to get a PS5, I'm so sorry, little Jimmy. Sony just announced today that it's sold out globally, apart from scalpers. But, yeah, you're not really going to get your hands on another one. I'm so sorry. But, there is always a scalpers you can buy from. just for $1,000 something. And some people have been. You do you. And well, some interesting things have been turning up, both from those scalpers and Amazon. So, how would you like the new PS5 edition to be cat food?
What?
Cat food, the PS5 edition. Just $500-$700 was the cat food. Would you like that? So yes, one lady over in UK has bought an item from Amazon UK on the website. Don't know what seller. And yeah, they arrived with some cat food. Another person in Australia, I believe, turned up with popcorn.
What? Popcorn?
Indeed. So yeah, if you would like some unique flavors to your PS5 models, head on down to Amazon and eBay and put your bets up. What do you guys think of this mess? It's being reported for a lot of people now.
I like
Someone needs to do something.
Oh.
Do what though?
Yeah,
And the sellers.
Yeah, like if they're going to do that. eBay, yes. Amazon, bleh.
All Amazon cares about is the bottom dollar. I mean, are they gonna do any? They won't do much on the people buying it. They'll be like, we don't care whether you got the whether you've been bamboozled. All we care about is the money that you pay to us. Well, a little bit of money, but
I mean, true. But like, man, what a nightmare return process that'll be. I mean, Amazon probably too. It's like just bringing up. It's like, hey, so I bought a PS5 and I got cat food. I'd like a refund, please. No, sorry, we can't do that for you. You've opened the box.
Oh man.
Oh. I mean, do you guys have any horror stories of online buying?
Oh, I actually don't really have that many horror stories when it comes to online buying, but I do hear the odd eBay story where like someone would buy like a model plane part and they'll come in they'll get the delivery and it's a photo of the plane part and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
no, I mean,
and scammers have been trying to sell the RTX 3090 cardboard edition.
Oh my, yeah, I saw that. I mean, is that sort of like a joke more than like a serious thing? But
Well, people have legitimately done it in the past, so I think it's still an attempt to scam. Because they're selling a piece of cardboard for as much as you'd buy a full
RTX
card for. Yeah.
You know, sometimes you got to get a bit cardboardy. Oh, that was bad. Oh.
Yeah.
Look, you asked me to stop making puns. Did you really want this to go down this road?
One could say that you scalped that joke. Didn't work out.
I sigh disappointment.
What I don't understand.
I'm sorry, listeners. Right now, you're just like, oh, flipping Christ! Oh my gosh, almighty!
This is bad.
This is going places.
What I don't understand is that where did the scalpers come from? Like ever since RTX came out, all of a sudden scalpers have decided to like swamp in and just and buy everything.
Where haven't they been? Like
they've always been there.
They've always been there.
Yeah,
Nintendo, PS3.
I get they have been there, but it wasn't to this point of idiocy though.
No, I would say I think okay. I always see worse. Oh man, you've got my mind thinking now because I remember a story of like a scalper. I mean, you probably say the same thing earlier this year, where like all those people scalping toilet paper.
Yeah.
Hi, Australia. Yeah.
Not just Australia.
Well, we started globally, didn't we?
Nah, I think it was. I think we did start globally.
We started globally. Internet historian says so must be true. No, but like. Because like everyone's like, someone will buy 1 pack, 2 pack, 3 packs, 4 packs, buy the whole truckload, and then all these scalpers like, well, shit, you got a whole house full of toilet paper now, no one wants. What was it one person like someone in Victoria tried to return like 200 rolls, it just declined.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the scalpers and consoles and stuff, that is you are right. They exploded ever since the Rona hit.
Yeah, I mean. I hope. Let me look up the article. Is Sony hoping like get more production in? Because
from what I've gathered,
Sony doesn't care. They get their money either way.
I mean, fair enough.
They're saying that we'll never get another PS5 until like 2021 or something like that.
Okay, Sony promises more. Away. Sony promises more PS5 stock for holidays. Even with they apologize for the unexpected demand. Are you sure about that, Sony?
Press X to doubt. Press X
They're
to
only
doubt.
apologizing because people aren't buying it right now because they can't. If people could buy the PS5 right now, they would love it. They'd be getting money.
Yes. We thank gamers. I'm sorry, but I cringed over here, gamers. Sorry, Reddit, you've destroyed me. We want to thank gamers. We want to thank gamers everywhere for making the PS5 launch our biggest console launch ever. Demand for PS5 is unprecedented. So we want to confirm that more PS5 inventory will be coming to retailers before the end of the year. Please stay in touch with your local retailers. Scalpers everywhere, mouth watering at that statement. Yes, more consoles coming. I will buy those.
I wonder how many of those PS5s we will see them lurking in the dark web.
Probably a few, I bet. Not that I'll buy them.
I mean, they might be in the dark web swapping bots and stuff, but they're more likely on the open web because they're selling, your average person isn't going to go to the dark web to buy a PlayStation.
Nah, they won't.
I like the comments on the Verge article. Is there any way to level the playing field with all the scalpers using bots? Should we set up our own bot army to fight back the scalpers or something? So, all right, guys. So, the day Skynet takes over, it was all because we wanted PS5s.
Are we going to turn PlayStation into the stock market, where humans account for a tiny % of actual stock exchanges? It's all just robots.
You want a PS5? You want a PS5? Oh, you want a PS5? Okay, we'll do some exchanges here.
Can you imagine Oprah coming back and she'll be like, "All right, who wants a PS5? You get a PS5. You get a PS5. Everybody else gets a PS5."
Everyone in the crowd is just scalpers and they're all cheering.
There was an interesting article I saw the other day where they're saying sneaker culture has caused the scalpers to come out.
Oh, seriously, $500 for a pair of shoes just because they got Kanye's name on them or something? Hey,
Jordans! Come on, who could say no to Jordans?
I could.
Oh boy. Speaking of things coming out and all that, Professor, you've got something to do with things being shut down.
Very good. Wow, you segue like a master.
Are you being serious or not?
No, I'm just putting DJ down.
Oh.
Damn it.
Yeah, so the Super Smash Bros. Tournament has been DCMA'd by Nintendo.
DMCA.
Yeah.
Yes. Once again, Nintendo, the best company makes a great company makes great games, but a shitty company of business.
Now, the issue here was that they use So, do you guys know what rollback is in fighting games?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so basically, your computer simulates a tree of every possible action the enemy can take, and then when the message comes through from that computer, carries out the action, and it gives you a better experience with less lag and glitching. So someone made a tool called Slippy, which is a tool that adds a whole bunch of stuff to Smash Bros. Melee. Automatic saved replays, live match mirroring, rollback netcode, and integrated online matchmaking. Yeah, so it adds a boatload of stuff to the game that's not in there. Because Nintendo, for some reason, don't seem to want to support, tournaments. Which was the Smash Brothers where they added the features to put off competitive players.
I don't know this one. Dig deep, please tell us.
I think it's the Wii Smash Brothers.
Interesting. So what exactly did it do?
The main one I think of is your character stumbles. Just trying to find a source on this. Yes, when the control stick is smashed, there is a small chance that the character will trip and fall over. And the
smashed? What, smashed?
Yeah, so it's I don't know if it was actually added for stopping competitive players. That was just a bit of an urban legend, I guess. But it is adding chance to it, which, competitive players don't like chance that they can't control.
100% understandable. Look, Smash, even I think the most crazy about control is the Smash community, considering, they still bring in CRTs with the older consoles.
Yeah, and they still play Melee, which is so old now.
That's GameCube, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's still a fan favorite. Apart from obviously Ultimate. Oh, good, I'm alive.
Yeah, so Slippy is a fork of the Dolphin emulator. So these people are playing a modified version of the game on an emulator, which, the original GameCube doesn't have online. There's a good reason for them to be working around it.
How many fan projects have died and burned over the years?
So many.
Too many.
What was that Metroid 2 remake? But then they brought the real Metroid 2 remake. M2. What was it? AMR2. AM2R. So this guy worked for 9 years or something on this unofficial Metroid 2 remake with pixel art and everything. And then the second was out a week after Nintendo DMCA'd and got rid of it. They got 10 out of 10 reviews as well.
What really ticks me off when games companies do cease and desist and DMCA's is it's they abuse that process.
Yeah.
I recall what was it a while ago where Last of Us Part 2 before the game actually came out. The leaks were coming out, and Neil Druckmann was handing out illegal copyright strikes to every single one of them.
Yeah, and the big issue with copyright strikes is that legally YouTube and other companies have to do something about it. But the big issue there is that they're complaint focused. So the worst part is YouTube, where if you get a copyright claim, your money goes to the copyright claimant, even if they're not the real owner. And there's no escrow while it's in dispute. I was thinking in pursuit for some reason. But yeah, while it's in dispute, there's no escrow. So any money that comes in while you're in dispute goes straight to the fake copyright holder. And because it's so well.
Professor, you all right?
Yeah, sorry. No, I've completely lost that train of thought. This is what happens when we record.
It's yeah. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sorry.
So I was saying, DMCA is bad for the user because any money that comes in goes straight to the fake copyright claimer, and then you get nothing. And because the most profitable time for a YouTube video is the first week, by the time the dispute's over, all the money is gone. So this is different. This is Nintendo using a cease and desist to take down a tournament. And tournaments are just advertising for your game. In fact, this is what I've noticed is Nintendo doesn't seem to like when people do what they do better.
They're like a whingy older brother, aren't they, at times?
Yeah, because Nintendo won't put rollback in other games they make, so fans do it. And they're like, no, don't. So, yeah.
Actually, Nintendo's more like that older brother that doesn't like constructive criticism.
Hey, if you could just do this, make the game. No!
But yeah, I initially thought this was basically some player is doing a mod, some player is using a mod, and Nintendo's just shutting down the whole event because players are using mod. But this is more like a vital mod for the game itself.
And it's not it's
not advantaging or disadvantaging any one player, man.
Yeah, so theoretically, Nintendo might be doing this because they want to, they think they're going to take out piracy. I don't think that's going to work out the way they think it will, because legally, if you own a physical copy of the game, you're allowed to have an emulator. That's already been tested in court. So
is it because of fair use?
I'm not sure. It's I think it's an archiving exemption to the DMCA, which horribly flawed, but obviously not completely imperfect.
Although even though Nintendo has given out that cease and desist order, you will see this code maybe lying around now on the internet.
Have you been on the internet? I mean, I'm sure you could still find Super Mario 64 PC edition if you went looking.
Oh, yeah.
It's one thing the internet does really well.
Never forget.
Yeah, I mean, it does forget, but things like that aren't going to be forgotten.
Nah. I mean, the question would be, like, does this make Nintendo look bad even more further, or...?
Yes. In the competitive scene, it makes Nintendo look awful. Are people going to keep playing Smash if they know that tournament can be shut down at a whim?
I mean, depends. Perhaps not. I mean, it's Nintendo. Everyone loves Nintendo, but then also hates Nintendo at the same time. So it's like, such a weird... Nintendo's so weird.
They definitely can be.
God, guys.
At least it's not as weird as, like, PlayStation or...
What weird in what way?
It's more like you got America Sony and you got Japan Sony. And America Sony wants to be its own beast where they don't want Japanese games coming into America. Kind of weird.
True, you're not wrong.
Yeah. But with Nintendo, I mean,
American
it depends
Sony,
on
why do you hate money?
I always hate money, man.
Why
do you want money? Come on.
I think it's more, we want politics and money. But with Nintendo, though, it depends on where they do the tournament as well, wouldn't it?
I suppose so, because this is a cease and desist by, I think, an American company. Well, an American branch. Yeah, it's a US convention called the Big House.
Great naming. The Big House.
Yes, the Big House will be where you will go if Nintendo wins this.
In this padded cell, please. No, there is no controllers around. You can't practice.
What are you in for, mate? Nintendo got me in.
Stop. That's not how you set the joke up.
No.
That's not how... You started with, what are you in for, mate? I killed a kid. What about you? Well, I wanted to play some games.
And then he slides away. He doesn't want to be near the game.
The gamer, boys.
How do you think this will affect emulators as a whole? I mean, Nintendo has been attacking emulators for a while now.
Nothing.
Emulators have a very clearly defined legal position, I think.
Yeah. As hard as they're going to try, they're going to get rid of it. Their ROMs, maybe, but even they can hardly see it. There's always going to be new sites popping up. And it's just, Nintendo's a Nintendo, and they're just, yeah. It's going to be a constant battle until the day they die, basically.
Yeah.
Unless they want to stop making games, and then, they don't have to worry anymore about people selling them. Win-win.
Oh, hey, look on the bright side. If Nintendo stopped making games, at least we don't have to see their E3 performances. So how many characters for the last time?
Hey, their E3 things are at least halfway entertaining.
Look, at least it's not as cringy as Xbox or Sony's presentations at times. Or anything at E3 apart from Devolver Digital.
Yeah, that's true.
But it doesn't matter anymore because E3's dead. Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
it has a very soft feeling, so just please be kind to it.
Craig, we love you. Please don't disconnect again. Yeah, so I was saying that the replacement for the Arecibo is Fast, which is in China, and is a much bigger dish. It's a 500-meter dish. Arecibo is about 300 meters. But the sad thing is, Arecibo has features that Fast doesn't. Arecibo has a radar module that can be used to track asteroids and planets. So hopefully they either rebuild... So they seem to be going to dismantle Arecibo, but it would be wonderful to see them rebuild it once they've dealt with the safety issues.
I see. So they're going to make plans to build something different?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
So another thing to add that the Chinese have better telescopes.
Yep.
Damn it. Although, even though Arecibo is pretty well known to a lot of people, it's also well known to moviegoers for its appearance in the Bond movies.
Bond, Contact, X-Files, it's in everything.
Can't they rebuild it from the ground up?
They could. That would cost a lot of money. Converting the cost of the original build, it's about $80 million, which is less than a fighter jet.
Oh, you have that. You have that. It's all good. You easily pay that. No problems. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, America's only buying 200 fighter jets,
Oh, God.
something like that. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'd like to see it either get repaired or get Fast have additional modules added to let it function with equivalence to Arecibo.
But looking at the picture of Arecibo right now, the amount of damage and the amount of dirt and stuff on it, I don't think it's possible to get it repaired at all.
It looks pretty grimy, but it's been working ever since the 60s. So, I don't think the grime is an issue.
Oh, yeah, true. But it looks like it hasn't been used for years and years. It just, optics-wise, it just looks, it needs to be demolished.
You get out there and power wash it.
Go on, fix up, man. Go on, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yes, I'll take my Karcher and I'll wash it down with it. See you in a few months. But those images remind me of those, the Beijing games?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of pictures that came out weeks or months after the games, and some of the stadiums, they look terrible.
They do. Yeah, so in the Wikipedia article you have linked in the show notes for FAST, the 500-meter aperture spherical telescope, they're very similar, built like the same construction style, but Arecibo has a fixed dish, so you can't adjust it apart from maintenance, and has a fixed receiver platform, which is the platform supported by the cables that are breaking, which sounds like a limitation, really. But you can adjust it slightly so the antennas can move on the platform. The platform's fixed, but the antennas can move. But Arecibo can receive higher frequencies. So Arecibo can get down to 3 centimeters wavelength, which is 10 gigahertz. Fast can only go to 10 centimeters wavelength, which is 3 gigahertz. And theoretically, they could reach 6 centimeters or 5 gigahertz, but that's a hard limit. Fast is deeper and has a wider field of view, but the biggest difference is the transmission. So, yes, Arecibo has the transmission equipment to study, radar astronomy, to study asteroids. Oh, bloody hell, that's a massive cockroach.
That's worrying.
That's a segue. That's one heck of a segue.
I haven't seen any in months. Where did it come from?
That's hilarious. You just went from a serious topic to like, my hell, there's a cockroach.
Away from me. Yeah, so I'll find that and deal with it when we're done recording. So, yes, Arecibo can do radar astronomy and target asteroids and work out which ones are going to come and be close enough to possibly crash into Earth. It can also study the atmosphere, and FAST can't possibly handle that because they have what they call the receiver cabin, which is too small to handle that equipment.
Not to mention the area itself. Where Arecibo is located, it's a unique area, isn't it? Yeah, so they're both built in a natural depression, but the Arecibo has a different targeting range. So Arecibo's limit on the field of view is compensated for by being close to the equator, so it has a better view of more of the sky. So, yeah, I don't know what they'll do now, unfortunately. Can you imagine all those movies that the Arecibo was featured will go up in value, like a 007 movie would be like, it's now $10 because Arecibo was involved in it.
That's not how economics works, but if you want to believe that, I'm not going to stop you.
But my point is, it's like it's an icon, and
yeah, and it's apparently a big bit of tourism for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the games we're playing next. What did you play, DJ?
I'm continued playing Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Such a fun game. They've added a new skin pack, which is now involving all the old actors from Mortal Kombat the movie.
And how's that go?
It's interesting. Seeing Christopher Lambert voices Raiden in the game. It's really cool.
So who are some of the actors they've added?
They've acted. Let's see. They've acted the guy who plays as Johnny Cage. They only acted Christopher Lambert, who plays as Raiden in the movie. They added the actor that played as Johnny Cage and an actress that played as Sonya Blade for now. But yeah, there's already one actor in the Mortal Kombat movies that was featured in the game as well, who plays as Shang Tsung. So there's some cool moments there.
Okay.
Like intros, for example, where they do like old Mortal Kombat movie references, and you go, that's pretty cool.
What about you, Devi?
Oh god, someone help me. I bought Yakuza.
Oh.
Specifically Yakuza. Which one is it? Yakuza Kiwami 2 is the remake of the second game. I'm sorry, Japanese. Bloody brilliant. 5 out of 5. It's fantastic. It is a fantastic game. It is flippin' beautiful. It is just it's literally, you can't go to Japan right now, just play Yakuza. It's Japanese tourism, virtual tourism. Like, the overworld's great. The engine it runs in is amazing for an RPG, especially like a mid-budget one like this. I have no complaints. I guess my only complaint technically would be that the side quests can get a bit tedious, but they're all very unique and are fun. So yeah, I think a blast. But I haven't been sleeping because of it.
What's the story about?
They found a Steam review for this because it sums it up perfectly. Recommended. It's the manliest soap opera ever.
Okay, then.
It literally is. Like, it's all about guys beating each other out. So it's about two families. I think it's soap opera. It's two families basically about to go to war. Two different clans, different Yakuza clans. And they're basically about to go to war with each other and they're trying to stop it. And it's very complex, as most RPGs are. But basically, it's just a badass. It is a soap opera. It's a soap opera. You did this. No, I didn't do this. He did that. But it's great. Open world is really good. You can go play arcade games inside of it. You can play bowling, go on dates, watch naughty videos. It's everything you want, man. And get cursed. So lots to discover. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
So DJ, what do you rate Mortal Kombat?
I'll rate it 3 out of 5.
And Devi, what do you?
11,000 out of 5. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10. 5.
Yeah, really enjoy your soap operas.
I enjoy my soap operas. Yakuza, I think I've got a new addiction. So if someone give me some drugs to get me off that'd be great. Hang on, wait.
And I finally wrapped up Metro Exodus the other night.
How was the journey?
I loved it.
You going to be excited to make another one?
Yeah, I think there's some pretty good sequel hooks. I'd love to see another game.
Oh yeah.
Just give me more Metro.
More Metro, please.
Professor's emulating his...
Maybe, Professor, perhaps you should give Yakuza a go if you like semi-open worlds.
Does Yakuza have Metro?
It has a Metro.
Yes!
But not the Metro you anticipated.
I got to point out that the author, Dmitry Glukhovsky, really likes trains because he wrote an American Metro book called The Outpost, and it turns out that all of the main outposts are along the American railways.
Of course. I mean, come on. It's built in a train tunnels, so he has to have some connection to trains, eh?
Yeah, so this one, though the American ones aren't even in tunnels.
That makes sense now, hey?
Yep.
No big flaws?
Yeah. Bugs. It's,
Bugs? How bad bugs? Like buggy bug or buggy bug?
Well, I hadn't actually had any crashes since I told you guys about having them. Actually, no, I had one. So, yeah, there's more spiders, which Devi's going to be really happy about when he gets to that level.
Spiders? Yes.
Yeah, it's not a fun time.
Are they better than cockroaches?
Worse. You can kill cockroaches with a shoe. These guys are big. The worst part is when you brush into cobwebs, the little baby spiders run over your skin.
Oh, ugh.
Yeah, I've seen a video of a guy playing, and one of them does that, and he just goes nuts and starts shooting and throwing grenades. Yeah, and there's a few mistranslations. So in one of the mods you can get for your night vision goggles, says that it does heat vision, which isn't true. It's actually just an improved night vision. So I don't know if that's a mistranslation or a mistake. There's a couple of awkward sentences which are probably mistranslations. And yeah, radiation doesn't work like the way they do it in the game entirely. But, you know, that's a understandable distinction. It's the same distinction that's been in all the games. And, you know, it's got a really good story. It's the jankiest of the games, but it's the most ambitious.
Come on, it cannot be as janky as Fallout 76.
No, it's not. It's not as bad as 76. I don't know how to recommend this enough.
Just say play it.
Yes, play it. Play all the Metro games.
Play all of them. They are fantastic. And if you haven't and you cough at it, it's like, oh, there's no Call of Duty kill sniping. Just...
I mean, there are snipers, but they're pretty useless because you're in a train tunnel.
There's no, like, double Q.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very hardcore... Not hardcore. It's a very, I guess, hardcore story-esque adventure first-person shooter game.
Well, if you play it in hardcore mode, it is incredibly hardcore.
True. But are they locked that behind, like, a paywall?
Not in Exodus.
Okay.
They were in the first game. I don't think they were in the second game.
The second game as well.
Okay. It might have... I don't know if I bought the season pass for that or not, but yeah, I remember playing it in Ranger mode, which is silly because Ranger's the best way, so they shouldn't make you charge... They shouldn't charge you extra to play it the way the game's supposed to be played. Yeah, so play it. Play it. Play it. There is only Metro.
The man loves his Metro.
I do. Actually, one thing that felt a bit weird was, so there's comments made about NATO forces and being evil and all of that. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm Russian. I'm the bad guy. That felt a bit weird because all of the, like, so much Western media has Russians as bad guys. But this time it was NATO. As the thing everyone was talking about.
It's like, what could possibly go wrong?
A lot, really. A lot goes wrong in this game. Yeah, it's I love it.
I think you said that about 5 or 6 times now.
I love it. Yeah, and the moral choices are clearer in this game than in the others. So in the other games, sometimes you get moral points for like just listening to people or for exploring side tunnels, because the theme of the game was a sort of enlightenment of getting to know the world that you're part of. But in this one, it's a bit more obvious. You know, rescue slaves, get a moral point, kill innocent people, lose moral points. Yeah, give it a go. Sure, they're a bit janky, but they're worth it. So I give that, you know, the story really picked up towards the end. So even though I felt like it ended a bit abruptly and...
I'm pretty sure all Metro games end abruptly, though.
Well, I feel like the first one really built up to...
No, the first one built well. But then, like, last light, it felt a little bit, whoop!
Yeah, it's sort of suddenly a massive boss battle.
Oh, hang on, guys, you're going to end the story somehow. Oh, big boss, whoa, whoa! Flashy lights.
Yeah, like, it was built up to it, but it was a bit abrupt. The final act sort of felt like it went past pretty quickly. Then in Exodus, so you never actually finish your goal in Exodus in gameplay. So you sort of finish the last location in the game, and then it goes to cutscene, and it's a really long cutscene, and I was late for our meeting because I got stuck in that cutscene.
Okay, the cutscenes wise, are they as long as those Final Fantasy like cutscenes, or are they shorter?
It's been a while since I played Final Fantasy, but probably shorter. So just play it. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 because it's got some bugs and issues, but you know, it picked up enough to make me feel, you know, like it was worth it in the end. The main issue I was feeling a bit annoyed with it last week. I got stuck on a stealth section and couldn't get past it. And sure, I could go not stealth, but I wanted the good ending. So yeah, got that sorted. So we'll have a quick ad break and then go on with the shout-outs. All right, so on the 16th of November 2020, the David Hemblin, known for playing Magneto in X-Men the Animated Series, passed away. He had over 70 credits, either as an actor or director, at Canadian theatres before he went to TV. His biggest live-action role was on Gene Roddenberry's Earth: Final Conflict. He was so good in the role that Bryan Singer considered casting him for the 2000 X-Men movie, but he was already filming Earth: Final Conflict. On the 23rd of November 2020, the Ice Bucket Challenge co-creator Patrick Quinn passes away at 37. So Patrick Quinn and Pete Frates, who died last year at 34, started the challenge in 2014 after being diagnosed with ALS. The challenge went viral on social media, with people around the world posting videos and photos of themselves dumping ice water on their heads. I'm still disappointed that Michelle Obama took the easy way out. She donated money instead of dumping.
Oh, have you seen Sir Patrick Stewart's Ice Bucket Challenge response?
I don't think I have. Did he wimp out too?
He wimped out too, but his way of wimping out is the classiest way in the Ice Bucket Challenge. It was so good. Like, it was just him in a suit, drinking like a glass of I think it was cognac. And he just writes a check, puts it on the table, and salutes to on the camera and starts drinking. I'm like, you absolute Chad.
Okay, then. Yeah, so Quinn and Freight were nominated for Times Magazine Person of the Year, so Time Magazines. And on the 24th of November 2020, it's the 25th anniversary of Nintendo revealing the Nintendo 64 at Space World Japan. So Nintendo Space World, formerly known as Shoshinkai and Famicom Space World, was a trade show hosted by Nintendo. At the 7th show, they announced the Nintendo 64 with 13 games, including the playable prototypes of Super Mario and Kirby Bowl 64, and videotape of the other 11 games. So they apparently had 12 playable demos, but cancelled 10 of them just before the show. So I wonder what kind of quality they were.
I bet you they were just like 60% done or 70% done, I reckon. Oh, I could be wrong.
Yeah. On to the remembrances. On the 23rd of November 1899, we have Thomas Henry Ismay, founder of the Oceanic Steam Navigation Company, more commonly known as the White Star Line. I'm sure most of you know where this is going. At the age of 16, Thomas left school and started an apprenticeship with shipbrokers Imrie and Tomlinson, Liverpool.
Shipwreckers?
Shipbrokers, I said.
Oh, so for a second you said shipwreckers. I'm like, shipwreckers?
So he started a business with Philip Nelson, who was a friend of his father's. Philip was a retired sea captain and believed in old, trustworthy wooden ships, while Thomas believed the future was iron.
Boy, was he wrong.
Yeah. So Thomas Ismay had several ships under his authority, and they were mostly chartered from other shipping lines, so that if someone died on board because of medical conditions or the ship's poor condition, they wouldn't be at fault.
Can you imagine being the owner of the company and knowing that you're the company that caused the Titanic?
Yeah. That's not a great thing to have by your name, but it was his son who happened to be traveling on the Titanic the day it sank. On the 23rd of November 1973, we have Sesu Hayakawa. Kintaro Hayakawa, known as Sesu Hayakawa, was a Japanese actor and a matinee idol. He was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood during the silent film era. He was the first actor of Asian descent to achieve stardom as a leading man in the US and Europe. His broodingly handsome, good looks, and typecasting as a sexually dominant villain made him a heartthrob among American women. He became one of the first male sex symbols of Hollywood. So it says he was the highly paid star of his time, and he earned $2 million through his own production company in 2 years. I wonder if that's $2 million in 1919 money, or if that's $2 million in modern money, because that's a lot of old-time money.
I think it's $2 million 1919 money, yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
He's best known for his role as Colonel Sato in The Bridge on the River Kwai. He starred in over 80 feature films, and 3 of his films are in the United States National Film Registry. He died from cerebral thrombosis at 87 in Tokyo. On the 23rd of November 1974, Cornelius Ryan, an Irish-American journalist and author known for writing popular military history. He's especially known for his history of World War II events, The Longest Day, about D-Day, The Last Battle, and A Bridge Too Far. So 2 of those books are made into movies, aren't they? We've got A Bridge Too Far and The Longest Day.
Yep.
So Cornelius Ryan was awarded the French Legion of Honor. He died at 54 from prostate cancer in Manhattan. On to the famous birthdays. On the 20th of November 1715, Pierre Charles Lemonnier, a French astronomer. His first recorded astronomical observation was made before he was 16, and he presented an elaborate lunar map to the French Academy of Sciences, which resulted in his admission age 20. He accompanied Pierre-Louis Maupertuis and Alexis Clairaut on their geodetical expedition for measuring a meridian arc of 1 degree's length from to Torn Valley in Lapland. His recommendation of the British methods and instruments contributed to the reform of French practical astronomy. The crater Lemonnier on the moon was named after him. He was born in Paris. On the 23rd of November 1887, Boris Karloff. William Henry Pratt, better known by his stage name Boris Karloff, was an English actor primarily known for roles in horror films. He played Frankenstein in Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein.
You mean Frankenstein's monster?
Yes, my eyes went over that somehow. Yes, he also appeared as Imhotep in The Mummy. He's also best known for narrating and as the voice of the Grinch in the animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 1966. He has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and acted in 80 movies before being cast in Frankenstein. Everyone today acted in a whole bunch of movies.
Oh yeah.
For his role as Frankenstein, he had to wear 4-inch platform boots that weighed 5 kilograms each. He also has a Grammy Award for Best Recording for Children for the audio for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He was born in Camberwell, Surrey.
He's the guy that made the popular song, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
He didn't sing that one.
I thought he did.
No, that was sung by Phil Ravenscroft.
Ah, okay.
On the 23rd of November 1907, Lars Leksell, a Swedish physician and professor of neurology at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, Sweden. He was the inventor of radiosurgery. For a short period, he served as a volunteer medical doctor in Finland during the Winter War, 1939. During that time, he speculated on the possibility of extracting bullets from the brain using a mechanically guided instrument. After resuming clinical work, he started development of the stereotatic instrument. The first documented use of his system was a case of craniopharyngioma cyst that was punctured and treated with injection of radioactive phosphorus. In 1948, the term and concept of radiosurgery was introduced by Leksell himself in 1951, when he reasoned that his tools and the center of arc principle could replace a needle electrode probe by cross-firing intracerebral structures with narrow beams of radiant energy. X-rays were first tried, but he experimented with gamma rays and ultrasonics. On to the events of interest. On the 23rd of November 1644, John Milton publishes Areopagitisa, a pamphlet decrying censorship. The full title was Areopagitisa. I cannot do this one. Areopagitisa, a speech of Mr. John Milton for the liberty of unlicensed printing to the Parliament of England It's a 1644 tract by the poet, scholar, and polemical author John Milton opposing licensing and censorship. It's among the history's most influential and impassioned philosophical defenses of the right to freedom of speech and expression, and is one of the most eloquent defenses of press freedom ever written. The world would be so different if the world followed Milton instead of the mouse. I mean, the mouse came a lot later, but...
Yeah.
On the 23rd of November 1924, Edwin Hubble's discovery of the Andromeda Nebula being an actual galaxy. Edwin Powell Hubble was an American astronomer. He played a crucial role in establishing the fields of extragalactic astronomy and observational cosmology. Using the Hooker telescope, he identified Cepheid variables in several spiral nebulae, including the Andromeda Nebula and the Triangular Nebula. His observations proved they were too distant to be part of the Milky Way and must have been entire galaxies outside our own. This had been suspected since at least 1755, when Immanuel Kant's General History of Nature and Theory of the Heavens appeared. On the 23rd of November 1963, the BBC broadcast An Unearthly Child, the very first episode of the first story from the first series of Doctor Who, which is the world's longest-running sci-fi drama. And An Unearthly Child, sometimes referred to as 100,000 BC, because back then they'd have 4 or 5 episodes in a block telling one story, but they didn't have an overarching title until a few years later. So there's some debate about what the correct name for some of these stories is. It was first broadcast on BBC TV in 4 weekly parts from the 23rd of November to 14th of December 1963. It was scripted by Australian writer Anthony Coburn, introducing William Hartnell as the first Doctor and his original companions, Carol Ann Ford as his granddaughter, Susan Foreman, and Jacqueline Hill and William Russell as teachers Barbara Wright and Ian Chesterton. So the reason why some people call it 100,000 BC is because the first episode, An Unearthly Child, only really handles the Doctor kidnapping the teachers. The rest of the episodes are set in the Stone Age.
Oh, I didn't know the Doctor had a granddaughter.
Yeah, he always has. Probably died during the Time War. But the launch of the show was overshadowed by the assassination of JFK, so they had to repeat the first episode the next week.
Oh, so that's unlucky timing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
It was Sidney Newman, C. Weber, and Donald Wilson.
Yes, but Verity was the producer. No, she was born in England. I must be thinking of someone else.
Yeah, Verity Lambert was born in London. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Thanks, DJ.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
On the 23rd of November 1976, apneist James Mayle is the first man to reach a depth of 100 meters without breathing equipment. James Mayle, is it Mayo or Mayo, DJ? Come on, you can't mess with me like this. It's Mayo, the first man to dive to 100 meters without any equipment. He launched the sport of freediving. Its practitioners see it as a matter of training, learning how to expand lung capacity, and letting your body relax and lower the metabolic process for longer underwater stays. Freedivers can use weights or fins for faster descent and inflated balloons to speed up surfacing.
Yeah, isn't that dangerous though? When you speed up surfacing too quickly, you get the bends.
Not if you're freediving. The issue is when you breathe air underwater, because the air that you breathe, if it's standard atmospheric air, contains nitrogen, which under pressure dissolves into your blood. Then when you are ascending, it starts to dissolve back out of your blood. And if you go too fast, it forms bubbles, which give you the bends and can kill you. Mm-hmm. And for the ridiculous movie of this week, from the 23rd of November 2013, Tornadoes came out. When a tornado appears in the waters south of Boston, former storm chaser Joe Randall is intrigued by the unusual weather. But as twisters begin to strike across the Boston shoreline, Joe quickly realizes this is no ordinary storm front. As the storms threaten to move inland, the citizens of Boston find themselves trapped in a tempest turning deadlier by the minute. With the city under siege, Joe, his sister Maddie, and his old storm-chasing partner Lee realize they're dealing with a never-before-seen phenomenon known as tornadoes. That's ridiculous.
It's like that movie Sharknado, but crazier.
What is all these movies about things being combined with tornadoes?
Hey, it's a thing. Come on, Tornadoes. Tornadoes was a good Twister was a good movie.
Yeah, Twister was good, but you don't need to put things in the tornado. Well, that's all we have for tonight. DJ, where can they find us?
They can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that'snotcanon.com, or even an archive of our old episodes. They can also find us on Pod Hero.
On Pod Hero, for $5 a month, you can support us and other That's Not Canon podcasts. Your subscription is split between the podcasts you listen to, depending on how much you listen to each one.
You can also find new podcasts such as Speak Loud. It's a podcast consisting of stories told by previous victims of abuse that showcase their triumph and provide hope and encouragement through the stories shared.
So that's all we have for today. Take care of yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, guys. Hello, I am still here.
Yay, Devi's not dead.
Barely, Jesus. I was falling asleep.
See you next week.